Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Truth Manifested. Bol Vachan Se Satya Vachan. Today we are here with our first series where we are going to discuss about how to cope up with mental health amidst COVID-19. Today we have with us Dr. Aditya Agarwal, who is a first year ND psychiatry resident at Department of Psychiatry, King George Medical University, Lucknow. He has completed his MBBS from AIMS Jodhpur. He's keen to incorporate technology in medicine and has initiated mind map based clinical guidance system for primary care physicians. He has also been managing patients who are affected with COVID-19. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you for the warm introduction.
So, before we start, let's introduce. We are here with the collaboration of JYS and Owl Media. Owl Media is a digital platform where we find memes, blogs, podcasts, and videos. And JYS is a volunteer body organization which is working for a noble cause, that is, providing quality education to marginalized. Their slogan says, striving for education. I am Aditi Bhasin and I am a Master in Psychology student. I am here in the capacity of President of Zalas Group. Zalas Group is a student organization which has three branches, that is, Owl Media and Internal. Now, talking about mental health, few studies states that people who have been facing COVID pandemic has developed neuropsychiatric symptoms. 22% of the patients who have been admitted to ICU are suffering from anxiety, and the 38% for the same patients are also suffering from depression. And it is very difficult for them to manage without their family in ICU. So today, Dr. Aditya Agarwal will throw a light on how has this mental health area came up when during this COVID pandemic. So, sir, let's start with our discussion today. Our very first question comes out to be, what do you think and how has this mental health been affected in this COVID-19 pandemic?
So, for most of us, and actually everyone who is probably living on this planet, the pandemic is something that we haven't seen, haven't heard of, or haven't even know how to deal with it. It has had, besides the physical and economic impact on our day-to-day lives, a huge mental health impact as well. The few of the key reasons why it has affected our mental health is because of the unpredictability of the situation first. Yeah, you might not know what is going to happen today, who's going to fall sick. Besides this, your routine has changed. You are immobilized and restricted to your home environment. You do not know how to live with that. So all of this has taken a toll on the mental health, and that too with the sudden emergence of it, the nation goes into shutdown in a single day, and no further end seen. We can see any end towards this. So that has affected our mental health in more ways than one.
So as you mentioned that I totally agree with the point that how mental health has been affecting all the population. Last year from the this is a pandemic which we were not even expecting, and we had to adjust with this new normal. And I'm sure we and also our viewers are adjusting with new normal. How do you think has their adjustment affected their mental health? How do you think this new normal for them is affecting their mental health?
So the new normal, every human takes its own time to adjust to things. Some earlier, some with time, some gradually. Some do not get to adapt. The ones who are more vulnerable to such mental health issues, so they take a lot of time, or with different coping mechanisms they adapt to these things. These vulnerable people then, their mental health issues get precipitated by such change in scenarios. Some people, it is easy to cope up with these things. They might take a few days, a few weeks to cope up with them and adjust accordingly, while some people would then get anxiety issues or depression or any other mental health illnesses. And between these range of spectrum, there are this entire general population that has some or the other issues but does not know how to cope up with them, how to deal with them, or whom to approach.
So I totally agree with you on this point too. And when you mentioned about vulnerability, how can you put some more light about vulnerability? Who are more vulnerable to it? The one who are affected with COVID, or the one who are the family members of the patients affected?
So, not exactly we can say vulnerability depends on the person's innate uh, behavior, his mechanisms, his lifestyle habits, his coping skills, etc. And besides these, the conditions, the environmental conditions that the person is in, and the stresses that he is handling. A COVID positive patient will definitely have a high amount of stress, being the consequences of the illness, being the social isolation, and even stigma associated with the illness as well. And the relatives would have stressors regarding the health of his relative and how to deal with the consequences in the current situation, how to get access to medical services and facilities.
Exactly. So when you mention about the stresses and specifically for them who are not the COVID patient but the family of a COVID patient, I would like to know about, like, since you have been working with the COVID patients around, how has your experience been with the one who are the family members of the patient?
Uh, so the attendants of the patients are probably the one group of population that is the we would say the most neglected part, uh, be it by the doctors or by the patients themselves. The attendant is supposed to do every kind of work, every kind of service for the patient, and yet his own health is neglected not only by the other people but by himself as well. Uh, he would often go out sleepless, hungry, and then be in service with the patient. And he would not often get the kind of help that he needs or would delay it during that time. So, such people, it is known that these would people would get anxiety, depression, sleep problems, appetite problems during this time period.
So, what are your suggestions for the attendees to manage their stress level with their mental health issues? And if supposedly somebody is already a depression or an anxiety patient, and then suddenly something happens in the family, it gets very difficult for them to cope up, I'm sure. So, what are
Yes.
your views on the fact that how can they cope up with it, and what exactly should they do at this point of time?
So, if it turns out that you have a family member who has turned out to be positive, uh, first of all, you would do all that is in your power to help them to treat. So then, after a certain time period, after supposedly the medications have started or the patient is admitted, you have to see what things you have to focus upon and what things you do not have to focus upon. Certain things that you have to focus upon or under are your control, that should be your priority. For example, providing the patient with food or essential medicines or with regular consultations. And then there are other things that is not under your control and that you cannot predict or per se. So you have to not take stress about those things. One major issue is that, will my relative get any more sicker? Will he die? What would happen? The unpredictability of the situation. Will I get positive or not? Would I spread the infection or any other family member get sick? So these are the things you have to decide what things are under your control, what things are under your power, that you have to focus upon and not the things that aren't under your control. Secondly, besides this, taking yourself out of the situation for a while, taking frequent breaks. If there are multiple care providers for the patient, shift your time out, take your time out for yourself, besides these general activities that we supposedly tell patients for improving their mental health, like deep breathing, or in our context, we can suggest pranayam, yoga, some form of medication, even for 15 to 20 minutes a day, getting a regular sleep, getting regular food, regular healthy food. These are the things which might seem very minute, but overall, they benefit the population a lot.
So do you believe that the over anxiousness has also increased when these information come to them, and how they do and how they react to this information is something which is kind of affecting them in every manner?
Yes, again, that is the same thing as the vulnerability of the person or the coping mechanism of oneself. Uh, so, some person will deal with an information very normally, would not react to it, while some people will get anxious about it and keep on thinking about what all misfortunes can happen with themselves. However, to label them as someone is a patient of generalized anxiety disorder is not appropriate, because such a situation is more than normal for any individual, and it is normal to have anxiety issues. All kind of anxiety is not wrong, and every kind of anxiety is not something that needs treatment. It is normal to feel anxious about the situation. When this anxiety tends to hamper your lifestyle, your life, your daily day-to-day activities, and has consequences on your physical health as well, then it is something that requires treatment, or then you have to focus on dealing with these issues.
Exactly. So I do want to ask you about your experience. Have there been any experience with you where you see patients who already were depression or anxiety patient or any mental disorder patient? Have their symptoms increased? Have it that affected them after that? Maybe it may be that just because of the isolation. It may be possibility that they might have no patients at their home, not somebody who they know also, but how has that affected them when they are in a home isolation situation where they can't go out? Somebody having somebody who is kind of anxious may need a fresh air to breathe, but then in some areas even going out is dangerous at this point of time. So how was your experience, or do you have any experience with such kind of patients?
Surely, many patients who were maintained on anti-anxiety or antidepressant medications through this period of lockdown and restrictions and financial stresses have relapsed, what we say in our terminology, or their depressive or anxiety symptoms have increased, uh, mainly because of the focus on these problems and the multiple different stressors, the unpredictability of the situation. Because of all of this, many patients have worsened during this time. Even individuals, normal individuals, have had disorder level of problems that required a treatment due to this current situation.
So, talking about how this situation has got worsened and how the situation actually has left them in a condition of confusion, kind of worthlessness. Now, coming on, as we previously discussed, what mental health is, how is it affecting us. Coming to the last part of this webinar, I do want to seek some suggestions from you for somebody who is currently facing mental health issue and who is kind of on the verge of being a mental health patient again.
Okay. uh So first of all, you have to find out what are you exactly feeling, what is happening with you, and why is it happening. One frequent cause of feeling anxious or feeling low is because of the over information, watching, reading, listening to these news articles again and again, popping notifications on your mobile phone, WhatsApp forwards, every kind of things. These tend to trigger why you feel so. So first of all, you have to limit on these things. It is okay to get information about the current pandemic only once a day with your morning tea or whenever you like. It is not necessary. The world would not get affected if you don't know how many deaths happened the previous day in the country. You are not going to control it and you have no effect on it. So you have to cancel out these things, limit out these things. Secondly, you have to see what your physical health is about. Your mobility is reduced, your food habits have changed, your sleeping pattern has changed. So you have to get your body tuned to your normal rhythm, getting a regular time of sleep, getting healthy food, having physical activity of any kind of about half an hour at least a day, be it a jog, a walk in your neighborhood, or even yoga in your room itself. That is enough for your body to stay healthy, and that in fact affects your mental health. Secondly, you have to take a time to unwind. Many of uh, many of the population has been working from home during this time or studying at home, having online lectures and all. So their schedule has also changed. People who are working from home are often working till late nights, 11 p.m., 12 midnight. So you have to take the time out to unwind yourself from these activities, be it work or be it news. And third thing, most important, is social isolation can also have its effect, which you might think is okay, you might not be attuned to it. So you have to connect with your friends, your family members. Through the means of technology, it has become easier, although it cannot replace the actual human contact. But you have to put your efforts to connect. And these are the three basic things that you need to do to take care of your mental health during these times. And even after all your effort, if you feel that it is somewhere out of your control or you need you need someone's help, then as mentioned earlier, you must reach out to your friends and family members and then to a mental health professional or any doctor if required.
So, summarizing what Sir said, coping up with mental health is, I believe, not that difficult. It is easy if we take care of our sleep patterns, if we make sure that we do self care. The physical activity, even after staying at home, that is just doing yoga, maybe in your room, just having a walk all around your home. If you have a terrace, do go to your terrace and have a walk, listening to soft music, and most importantly, staying away from the misinformations, not checking your phones regularly, not checking the status updates regularly to see who needs oxygen and who has been facing what. Because right now we are in a situation where everybody might not have the same pain, but somewhat similar to that. So you cannot imagine how the other person is feeling at this point of time. And supposingly, I can give you an example. If somebody is very upset about a problem in a family due to this COVID pandemic, that may be financial loss, or maybe somebody who is not well and maybe is hospitalized, and you put up something on your status, or even you call somebody and ask them that how are you doing, maybe you put up something on your status which is kind of more giving them an trigger to their emotions, I believe you should avoid doing these things. And apart from that, journaling is one of the best thing you can take up during this COVID pandemic. You can realize what your real worth is right now. Rather than feeling worthless, let's start and have the feeling that we are worth, we have our own worth, we have our own job to do. And obviously supporting the others, not constantly pinching others and asking how you're doing, because at times they might not be able to tell you how they are feeling. So, ending with this webinar, episode 1, I would like to thank Dr. Aditya Agarwal for taking out his precious time for us and making us aware about how to cope up with the COVID pandemic. And sir, I salute you for the work you are doing for the COVID patients. And suggestions coming from Jagrut Youth Society, I would like to, through this video, I would like this to go to the government or agencies and also to the hospitals and through you, sir, too, that if we can start with the mental health professional visiting continuously to the hospitals and giving a motivation to COVID patients. I understand nobody want to risk their life going and giving counseling to the COVID patients, but then definitely we can figure out some ways coming from that. For the information, sharing your experience with this COVID pandemic. I really appreciate you for taking out time for us. Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
thank you viewers for watching our video. I hope that after this you can subscribe our channel and like and share. So thank you.